One thing I cannot stand are selfish parents, and undoubtedly, a lot of them are social media influencers out here sharing their lives and their kids' lives for all to see. They share things from their day to day life to even vacations and even parenting hacks, and might I add, not so good parenting hacks, especially having to do with vacation. So, as you can tell from the title of this video, we are going to be talking about Matt and Abby today and the recent cruise that they went on where they decided it would be okay to leave their kids in the room alone while they went out and enjoyed a fancy dinner. I am not an avid Matt and Abby follower. I am aware that they have a huge following. Millions of people follow them. I have heard about them here and there. I am aware that they have been criticized numerous times, but I really feel like this time takes the cake. That's why I'm covering this story. This is my first time ever covering them, but it really grabbed my attention because it's just unbelievable to me. They recently went on a family cruise and they took their kids with them, toddlers aged 1 and 2. And that's a big piece to this whole story. It's not like these kids are old enough to, kind of hang out by themselves or be a little more independent. These are basically babies we're talking about. And like many toddlers, they don't like sitting through long, drawn out dining experiences. So when the kids weren't happy, and in turn, the parents weren't happy with their dining experience, Matt and Abby decided, hey, let's push back our dinner reservation to a later time when the kids are sleeping, and we'll just use FaceTime video monitors to keep an eye on them while we go enjoy our dinner. Not only did they do this, but Abby posted this experience on her stories and made it public for all to see, and then got a ton of backlash for it. Here's the post. There is so much wrong here, but I just first want to say they packed these monitors, so they intended to use them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been packed in their bags. So they must have had a plan to use these monitors at some point so they could go out and enjoy themselves. Also, you cannot tell me that they went to dinner and set up their phone or monitor on the table and kept a really good close eye on the kids while they were simultaneously enjoying dinner. I don't believe that. There's no way that they were watching these monitors closely. I also know that the ship Wi-Fi is not stable. It tends to go out a lot. So that's another factor in this. What if the video froze? What if the monitor went down? They wouldn't be able to see the kids in real time. And then the fact that they shared this to their stories like it was some sort of cruise hack. Oh, cruising tip 101, get a baby monitor and you can leave your babies in the room alone while you go out and enjoy yourself and get some adult time. What gets me is they're doing this publicly, so what goes on when things aren't public? What goes on in their day-to-day life? How many times have they left these kids alone? So many people are talking about this and they have received a ton of backlash because of this, as they should.
Please, for the love of God, tell me that we are canceling Matt and Abby.
Matt and Abby literally might have just ended their own careers. If you follow them, you saw that they just went on a cruise and they took their 2 toddlers, which anybody who knows is probably not going to be the best time. It's not very toddler friendly. However, she goes on to say that dinner time was not enjoyable with them at the fancy dinners, so they made alternative plans. This story has since been deleted, but she decides it would be a better idea to let her kids go to bed, them go to dinner, and them just FaceTime the monitors.
Last day of their cruise, they decided they still wanted to go to dinner even though the kids wouldn't have the daycare because they didn't like it. So their solution was to leave the kids alone in their room while they set up baby monitors and went on FaceTime and went to dinner to watch them on the monitors.
I mean, they're like, what are they, like 9 and 10 or like 9 and 11 or something?
1 and 2.
In my opinion, this is pure neglect. If your kids are such an inconvenience to you, you probably shouldn't have them. These people are willing to risk their children's safety for their own selfish wants. They were cruising with Royal Caribbean, and I'm really curious to know what Royal Caribbean thinks about this, because I know that the minimum age to even cruise is 21 years old. So, what do they think about parents leaving their children unattended in the staterooms, especially this young? This is different than the child being, 12, 13, 14. These are babies, let's remember. I can't say that enough. That's the biggest piece in this. I went on a Royal Caribbean cruise a few months back, and I brought my kids, ages 13, 7, and 6, and not once were they out of my sight ever. When it was time to settle down for the night, we stayed in the room. We didn't go out and party or go to the fancy dinners. We actually avoided the main dining room the whole time because my kids just weren't interested in it. So we just ate at the buffet. Simple. That's why Royal Caribbean, and I'm sure all cruise ships, give you different dining options. God forbid you have to tailor your family cruise to match the needs and wants of your kids. If you're going to not prioritize your kids on a trip, then why even bring them? So the thing here too is that Matt and Abby had other options. Like I said, they could have just ate at the buffet. They were also cruising with their parents, I think the kids' grandparents. So maybe they could have watched the kids. Maybe they could have rotated nights of enjoying dinner. Uh, Also, Matt and Abby do have a lot of money, so they could have probably afforded to bring somebody along with them to watch the kids. And another thing is that Royal Caribbean does offer daycare, which apparently they did try one of the nights, but the youngest child ended up getting sad, didn't want to stay. They just didn't like it. And then when they went to book again, there were no openings for the daycare. So this was when they made this decision. They felt like this would be a better option. What I'm trying to say is that any sane parent would cancel the stupid dinner plans and do what they had to for their kids. This was a dumb decision. Anything could have happened. And cruise ships are huge. I don't think some people realize the scale and just how big they are. It is it usually takes a few minutes to walk from your stateroom to wherever you're going. I don't know the layout of the ship that they were on. I think they were on Navigator of the Seas, and I don't know where their room was located, but anything could have happened. Toddlers are so unpredictable. They're at that age where they're 1 and 2. They're at that age where they're, exploring, walking around. What if they would have woke up, opened up a door? I don't know if the room had a balcony. I'm assuming it probably did. All they have to do is pull the handle down, open that door, and a disaster could have happened, or they could have been wandering the hallways. Or what if some other emergency happened? Cruise ships are generally safe. However, what if there was a power outage or some sort of lockdown or a storm or a fire? Anything could have happened in that time, and it would have been a struggle to make it back to the stateroom in time. Another thing is, what if one of the kids had, a medical emergency? God forbid they choked or had a seizure. Anything could have happened. To leave your kids, babies, little ones, unattended like this is just so irresponsible. It's beyond me. Matt and Abby have not responded to the criticism and the backlash that has been going on. And this is honestly probably just the beginning. They're probably just thinking it'll all blow over, and it probably will. But do you really think it should? I don't. And Abby is still posting on her social media. She put up a couple stories that have nothing to do with this. So it's not like she is just not posting on social media. They could have responded by now, but even if they do, I mean, what are they going to say? That we're all wrong and that we're reacting and that nothing happened. It's the fact that this was a very irresponsible move, and anything could have happened. And I'm really, like I said, curious to know what Royal Caribbean thinks about this. You know, if something would have happened on the cruise ship, it would not have been the cruise line's fault. It would have been the parents' fault because they made this decision at the end of the day. And so I personally feel like there should be some sort of consequence, whether that be a CPS investigation if behavior like this is so repetitive, or maybe they should just be banned from cruising. I mean, are we really going to let people get away with shit like this just because they're influencers or they have status? I don't think that's right. And I don't think it's going to stop this sort of behavior. And the fact that they could very well be influencing other people to do this sort of thing is scary too. So, with all that being said, guys, I am interested to see what you all think. So, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
So like we got a 5-day cruise and like we don't really ever get a chance to just travel and like do anything fun. So we're going to take advantage of this 5-day cruise. And like I don't know how we were supposed to know that a 1 and a 2-year-old weren't going to be like chill and hang out on a cruise. Like how were we supposed to know that our kids weren't going to be able to go out and enjoy a cruise that way? Like I think that we were doing the smartest decision so that way we didn't waste all the money on this cruise. So yeah, like I don't want to hear it. You guys would have done it too. I actually think it was really smart. We had our FaceTime going and it was like angled at the monitor because the monitors don't really work unless you're like immediately right there on a cruise ship. Like the monitors only work if you're like 10 feet away on a cruise ship. So we, really thought it through. And what we did was we FaceTime the monitor. So that way you can't like break up that connection. Because I know that you're going to tell me like, Abby, don't you know that like cruise ships have horrible connection and it's not reliable? And then I would tell you within 10 feet, that monitor will work. So FaceTime will work. I pay my phone bill, guys. It works. It's fine. But like I could see them on the monitor and like every 30 minutes when I checked the monitor, they were still asleep in the exact same position. And some haters might say like it was lag and that the monitor was frozen in one picture, but I know that was just my child sleeping and they were fine. And like, yeah, I know that people are telling me this is like the Madeline McKinnon case and like we really got lucky here, but you need to realize that was 20 years ago. Like come on, guys. We were smarter than that. We had FaceTime going. If there was a problem, we could have just ran across the ship within 10, 20 minutes and we would have been there. It would have been fine.